Hello, and welcome everybody to this live webinar to talk about Unplug Meditation Teacher Training with the fabulous davidji. I see you. I would love to see all of you. If you want to share your screen or turn on your camera, there's nothing more fun than to see all of your faces. And before we even start, I would love to know, where are you coming from? Just leave it in the chat. Are you here from LA? Are you somewhere else around the world? As we wait for people to kind of join on, I see so many amazing familiar faces. Newport, Chicago, Brentwood, Washington, D.C., Idaho, Toronto, Dublin, Richmond, Los Angeles. Wow. Let's get everybody in there. Carlsbad, the sweet spot. Hi, James. Okay, there are just so many people I know on here. I love on here. So many people I don't know. I'm excited to see some teachers. I'm excited to see davidji. And the next is Jelena Wallace. I would love to see your face. If we could put up the poll that we wanted to ask just at the beginning, we're going to leave the poll live as people start to join on. Yeah, just answering this question before we get started. Amazing. I just want to hang out with Suze and davidji. What is your primary reason for joining this webinar? And as people come on in, they're starting to answer this poll. I like that. I want to deepen my meditation practice. I want to learn more about the Unplug Meditation Teacher Training Program. I'm feeling called to become a certified meditation teacher. I want to share meditation with my loved ones, or I just want to hang out with Suze and Deer. We want to hang out with you. And that's why we do this. But we can leave that live for a little while. We're pretty much almost getting total participation. But before we really start this, and I see more people are trickling in as we say this, but I kind of wanted to start with a little bit of my story, because I started probably where many of you are starting from right now. I knew nothing about meditation. I was a fashion editor running around the globe like a wild woman, moving at 200 miles per hour, pretty much crashing into a lot of different things. And one moment I was so stressed out, and my mother-in-law was like, "You have to breathe." And I said to her, "What's that?" And she taught me a 3-minute exercise with a guided visualization that completely changed my life. In that moment, it was as if, the clouds parted, the angels started singing, and I knew that this was something that I really wanted to learn more about, because I couldn't even believe that it was possible to go from how I was feeling to how she made me feel in 3 minutes, which was totally calm. And after that, when I went back to LA, because I had just moved my whole family to Los Angeles, I started searching for meditation people to teach me how to do this. And I took, Vedic courses where I went into some guy's apartment for 4 days. I took the UCLA mindfulness course. I started taking a ton of different courses. And I knew that there had to be a simpler way. And in that moment, I was like, I should quit fashion and open up a meditation studio, like a dry bar, where you can kind of basically go in and go out and feel great in under 30 minutes. And so I said that to my husband. I'm like, I gotta quit fashion and open up the dry bar for meditation. And he said, you should probably learn how to meditate first. So that was that. So when he said that, I realized I needed to learn from the best, because if I was going to do this, I was going to do it right. And so that's exactly what I did. I sought out the best teachers in meditation. And when it came to doing the Unplug, and then I opened up the world's first drop-in meditation studio, and the global app, and the rest is history. But when we launched the Unplug Meditation Teacher Training Program, I thought about it the same way. I was like, who is the world's greatest meditation teacher of all time? Who's the GOAT? Who would I want to hang out with for 6 weeks? Who would I want to learn from? And there was only one person I could think of, and that was davidji. And so I literally asked him, I said, would you be interested in teaching the Unplug Meditation Teacher Training Program? And he said, you know what, I would love that, but let's do this with a handshake. And we literally made that handshake 6 years ago. And we are about to launch our 12th Unplug Meditation Teacher Training program. And I have to say, like, the first one was great, but the 11th one was unbelievable because every time we do it, we have someone, all of our clients kind of tell us how to make it better and better and better. And at the last one, they pretty much didn't have anything to say. So we just are very competitive. So we always want to make it better. So with that, I'm so excited to introduce you to one of the GOAT of meditation teachers, davidji. Welcome, davidji.
Oh, hello, everyone. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to show up. It looks like, as we look at the poll, it looks like 56% are here to learn how to deepen their meditation practice. 20% just want to hang out with us. You could do that. 17% want to learn more about the Unplug Meditation Teacher Training, and 5% are actually being called. Well, we know about Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey. Whenever the hero gets the calling, usually the first step is to resist the calling. So if you've been feeling or sensing a calling and you've been resisting a little bit, that's normal. That's par for the course. But hopefully during this process together, you'll connect and gain a little confidence in taking that step and answering the call. 3% want to share meditation with their loved ones. We could, rather than me just telling you, here are the results. So fascinating, right? We have 79 people here. 66 have answered the poll. 80. I'm sure some more people will be joining us as well, but pretty powerful that we're all looking like, what's the secret? How do I lock it down? How do I get it done? How do I make sure I show up every single day? Who am I to teach meditation? Who am I to share with anyone a stress hack, right? Imposter syndrome. These are very, very common components of life in general. But, as we look at pretty much how we all approach life and stress. This was really the reason that Susie and I felt, why don't we do that? Why don't we actually create something? And so I'll just give you a quick backstory on me. When I came to the Chopra Center in 2003 to learn to become a certified meditation teacher. At that training, I became the COO, and over a few months became the lead educator. And then ultimately, I was appointed the Dean of Chopra Center University. And that's where I got the opportunity over 10 years to train and certify over 2,000 meditation teachers, 200 yoga teachers. That was one of my yoga certifications that I got as well. 20 years ago, probably you've all heard of the 21-day meditation challenge, or a 21-day meditation challenge. And 20 years ago, I created and recorded the very first 21-day meditation challenge. And I kept doing that until it got so popular that Deepak said, you could step aside now. Let me invite Oprah in and we'll take it from here. But I have taught millions of people around the world to connect to the stillness and silence that rests within. And in 2012, 10 years ago, I left the Chopra Center to create the davidji Meditation Academy. And over that period of time, I've trained another 800 meditation teachers. So 7 years ago, when Susie reached out to me and invited me to participate with her in the Unplug Meditation Teacher Training, that really spoke to me. That was like, wow, pretty cool. We worked on it for a year before we launched our first training 6 years ago. And we created it from an entrepreneurial basis because we're both, at that time, both entrepreneurs, and we figured we're going to be teaching people who are out there and they're going to make their practice of meditation or their sharing of meditation sort of like on their own. No company is going to be backing them. So we created a full-on training based on the science, based on the mechanics, the most distilled essence of what it is to be a meditation teacher. And over the years, it's 20 years now, I'm celebrating my 20th year teaching meditation, so this is pretty auspicious for me. I've really learned from everyone that I've interacted with what works, what doesn't, what are best practices, what are worst practices, all the possible experiences that could happen when you meditate. And the basics, the how, the when, the what, the where, from in the moment stress hacks to going into deeper states of consciousness. And we integrated all of that into this powerful training. And it also gives you lifetime access to the Unplug app and daily videos throughout this training to really ingrain this powerful practice. As I mentioned, this is also my 10th year as a meditation entrepreneur. And so Suze creating the very, very first drop-in meditation studio and me, we come from a very organic space. We created this from scratch. We created it from our heart. It's a heart-based process. And over that period of time, we have both, taught in the corporate world. We've taught yogis and companies. I've worked with Facebook and AT&T and Kaiser, and I've also worked with addiction centers, law enforcement, a whole bunch of different types of groups, people typically in high stress situations. So raise your hand if you see your life is sort of like a high stress situation. Raise your hand if you've experienced any stress over the last 2.5 years. That'd be like full on hands up. And so now more than ever, owning these techniques and these teachings internally, as well as being able to share them. And, you could be saying to yourself, well, I'm not going to teach at AT&T. Well, how about you're going to teach someone that you live with who's experiencing a lot of stress or depression or trauma, or there are so many things that we're challenged with in the world. And I've really experienced over the last several years that there's sort of like 3 lanes that people come to meditation teacher training. The first lane is they want to formally become meditation teachers. They want to change their last name to meditation, like mine is, davidji meditation. And they're going to hang up the shingle and, learn to meditate with me. That's like, it's about 1/3. Then there's another 1/3. These are people who have no interest in ever mentioning to anyone. That was me. I was never going to talk to anyone that I was even a meditation teacher. I just wanted to lock down my practice. That's all I was looking to do. It felt great, but I was a little sketchy. But if I could learn like the mastery secrets, then I could lock it down. So that was my journey. And that's about 1/3 of the people, just looking to live a better life with meditation being a part of it. And then there's that 3rd lane, also about 1/3 of the people. They're not necessarily going to teach meditation. They already do something brilliant, but they want to weave these teachings into whatever they do. So we have trained lawyers to be a little more patient. We have trained nurses to actually release stress and share stress management techniques with the people that they work with. We have trained teachers to integrate this into their classes. And so whatever it is that you do that's really special, your supposedly your purpose, you don't have to throw it all away and say, well, now I'm going to get out on the street and say, hey, learn to meditate. For me, you can actually weave this in. And that's about 1/3. And I think ultimately we encounter all 3. I was at the airport a month ago and our flight got canceled. And the person next to me was like trying to stage a coup, let's charge the ticketing agent. And I was like, why don't we just sit and breathe together? So not was what I was expecting, but we mellowed out. We actually connected. It was sort of like a love connection. And now we stay in touch since then. And that was not my intention when I went to the airport, to walk someone, talk someone down, just through connecting to the stillness and silence that rests within. So we've helped moms create more calmer environments at home. Even one of our graduates, she was always in the line picking up kids, and she figured, I'm spending my entire life sitting in the line at school picking up kids. And she created meditation car karaoke. And so she started filming these meditation lessons in her car, because she was there every day. And she was meditating with, hundreds of people every single day because of that. And when the kids came into the van, rather than rolling her eyes and grunting and going like, all right, let's go home, she was like, oh, hello, loved ones. She totally transformed how she even viewed the world. We've taught people to have more peaceful dinner conversations, to not have the TV on, to actually, rather than venting and whining with each other, to actually say, how was your day? I'm so happy just to be here, and spend time with people that I love. So we've gone through the whole gamut of so many different types of people stumbling into that. And Suze and I said, how can we create this really tight program, this 6-week program where people could become experts, where they could lock down their practice, where they could learn the science and the mechanics, where they could first get comfort in their practice and then gain a little confidence, and then have the courage to even share it in an airport or at the dinner table or wherever you are. This is a very, very special teacher training. And by the way, there's only 2 books. There's De-Stressifying and there's Unplug. So there is some reading. Yeah. They're pretty easy reads though. And as you're reading them, you go like, oh, that's a real world technique. I can use that here. Suze and I, we're not big on just sharing a lot of theory. We always want the real world practical application to be such a core element in this process. And so I would invite you to check it out. The first step is like, well, not really sure what this is or who you are, but you can schedule a discovery call with Suze and find out if this is a fit for you. You'll learn how to lead meditations. You'll learn how to teach meditation classes. You'll learn how to guide meditative experiences, like the 21-day challenge or whatever that looks like. We've pivoted pretty hard over the last 3 years to virtual. So we've become pretty expert in person and virtual experiences, and holding the space and sharing and really taking people to the next level. So let's just try this here for a second right now. Let's all, it looks like there's 94 of us here. And looks like there's only, a lot of people like to keep the cameras off. It's like, okay, because you could be, who knows, walking the dog, doing the dishes, doing a whole bunch of stuff. That's one of the beauties of having virtual experiences. Oh, a couple of people are popping on now. Virtual experience, you can be there, and if you don't feel particularly great about how you're looking or what you're wearing, you can keep your camera off. And so this training used to be in person. We made it virtual so that people could actually enjoy it from the luxury of their couch or chair or living room or kitchen table or whatever's going on in your life. So it's pretty accessible. And that's really one of the most important things for us. We've certified a whole bunch of people, 212 grads in 19 countries. And of the United States, 26 states, and a whole bunch of provinces throughout Canada and the rest of the world. So it's pretty far reaching. And we've got graduates in Australia and New Zealand and China and Japan and South Africa, so many other places throughout Europe and the States.
I just want to
So
chime in for one quick sec, because someone wrote a quick question, but we'll be answering the questions at the end. But that does not, the certification is 100% online, but we're live on Zoom from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. the last final week. And that's where you're actually practicing meditation and you are teaching one-on-ones and you're teaching small groups and you're also teaching on the global stage of Unplug. So by the time that you finish the program, you will have taught at the minimum 14 times. Sorry to chime in, davidji.
yeah, that's great. That's great. Actually, it's 9 to 5. So Pacific time. So pretty doable. And even if you are across the pond, you're like, wait, that's like 1 a.m. Yeah, it'll end around 1 a.m. What a beautiful way for you to go to bed. And we've actually got some certified teachers here that we want to share some moments. But let me just quickly, here's what the program is. We kick off our journey with weekly assignments and weekly lessons. We have daily meditations right in the app. So you can experience 6 weeks of different styles, different teachers, different techniques, different practices. There's a very, very intuitive dashboard filled with all the resources for the program. 2 books that you have to read, a one-on-one with me to help you crystallize your vision. And we also create study groups for you so you can have these regular check-ins with your study buddies and really talk about what works, what doesn't, what feels good. And we found that to be so powerful. And we provide ongoing support during and after. If you graduated from Harvard, they're not reaching out to you and asking how they can support you. But Unplug Meditation is actually doing that. We took a poll of our teachers, and I just wanted to share it. Jelena, could you put that poll up? Because this was really cool. We figured, let's ask people who actually did this. You know, it's sort of like, this is your brain before meditation. This is your brain after. So before the training, you can see
We
it was
just
about...
to clarify, we actually sent this out to all of the certified graduates, and we had a really remarkable response. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, we were pleasantly surprised. So if you look before the training, look at that big chunk that was like rarely or never meditating. It was inconsistent, maybe weekly, you know, perhaps twice a day. And we teach you how to start your day with meditation and then to also end your day with meditation. Look at how that shifted. Suddenly that it's, I don't know, is that like 7/8 or 6/7 or something along those lines of people who really lock down their practice. Can we see the next slide? So again, just like I said, I'm not going to teach meditation to anyone. I don't really want anyone to even know. Well, I've got 2 words for you. Ha ha. Because before the training, probably everybody said that as well. And then after the training, suddenly you're like, yeah, child of mine. Yeah, spouse of mine. Yeah, friend of mine. Yeah, person I work with. Suddenly like, let me teach you this cool technique. So how powerful is that? Next slide. And this is the one that I find the most powerful because what have you done since graduating? And yes, people have written books and people have done other stuff, but just check this out. People who never prior to that taught a private lesson, or they taught at a studio, they taught a corporate session. This stuff was not on the table before they got certified. They taught a workshop. Virtually 90% deepened their meditation practice and helped friends and family to meditate. A few of them actually opened a meditation space. A bunch of them added meditation to their current offerings. That's what I was talking about. Sort of like weaving this thing into whether you're a yogi or an angel card reader or an oracle or a parent or, you know, whatever that looks like to you. Reiki
Our life
master,
coach.
life coach, trainer, so many different, you know, suddenly it's like, well, now I have this as well. Holistic healer. Almost 70% were inspired to pursue a new path. It gave them this confidence. This training helps you find your voice. No matter what you end up doing with meditation, you will find your voice. And of course, they never had a community before. And more than 50, almost 50% are staying connected with other graduates. So you'll meet friends on this journey that you never even knew you had. And the final slide. Just a couple of unsolicited testimonials.
This was in the survey as well, and there were so many that we unfortunately put so many on here, but yeah, just take a moment to read some of these. But I thought it would be interesting to actually hear from people who've taken the program. So I wanted to invite Ryan Nell to just say a couple words. Ryan Nell is in London.
Yeah, hey everyone. So in the just on 5 years since I was like one of the OGs, so did it in California. I met some absolutely incredible people, and in the intervening 5 years, I just loved the experience of learning with davidji and Suze. I've taught in front of crowds of kind of led sessions for 500 people in music festivals and ginormous kind of nightclub venues in London. I've taught hundreds and hundreds of hours. I don't actually have the figure, and now about 2,500 people, maybe a bit more. I haven't like counted every one of them, but yeah. So like my life before, I was working in an ad agency and feeling like my kind of soul was depleting slowly, like the more time I spent in that environment. Now I'm a meditation teacher. I run a company called Levitate. We're a studio and a kind of well-being platform. We work with Google and bits of the UK government and tech companies and just all manner of organizations. And I still kind of teach twice a week as well, as a public studio. So it has been massively transformative, life-changing. I'm such a happier dude than I was before. And it's a real privilege to get to share some of the things that I learned to Unplug with the people that I get to share it with. So yeah, I can't state highly enough like how much I value that experience and how much it's set my life on a different path.
So great.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I love that. And there are 4 people from the UK who've done this program. One of them is very high profile, but you'll see later. I would like to invite Kelly. I think, Kelly, did you do the last program? Were you on the last?
I did a year ago. I was in the thick of it with you all, and it's bringing back such happy memories.
So can you tell everybody about your before and then just kind of what you've done since the program?
Yes. So I really started on this journey because I was healing. I lost my husband 7 years ago, and I was on a healing journey. And a friend of mine said to me, Kelly, just keep your head where your feet are. And at that moment, I realized I wasn't living my life where my feet were. I was always in the past or the future. The past was so sad, and the future was scary. So the present moment really found peace, that sweet spot that davidji talks about. So I dabbled in meditation. It was not consistent though. And I had started creating these retreats to Hawaii. And the last one I was working on, I thought, we really need to add meditation. And I thought it would be good for me I knew I needed to develop a practice. And so I really just Googled meditation teacher training, and lo and behold, the universe handed me exactly the perfect training program for me. And I can't tell you what it did for me personally in my healing and my grief, and professionally. My practice, I never was able to make it stick because I had all these misconceptions. And davidji and Suze just break it down and just make it so accessible. And you two are very humble, but what you share of your hearts and yourselves in this program is unbelievable. And you touched a little bit, I think, davidji, about the community, the people you meet. I still am in touch with the graduates, the people the lovely human beings I got to do the program with. And I've taught in Greece at a retreat. I've taught in Hawaii. I'm doing privates. I'm doing all kinds of exciting things. But one highlight I have to share is I have a client who's 24 years old, and I've been doing privates with him since August. And he's suffered from panic attacks. And he said to me on Wednesday, he said, Kelly, my life has changed because of my meditation practice and because of my privates with you. He said, everybody in my life is noticing the difference. So that's just one person. But I can't tell you how good that feels. And I am so grateful. In my opinion, there's no other program to even look at. This is the program. And from the bottom of my heart, I love you, Suze and davidji. You guys, I cried the last week, the intense program, the last week, the 9 to 5 at the end of it, I cried because we had just developed this bond and this connection. So I could talk forever, but I was given a short amount of time. So love you all. Thanks for this, letting me share.
Thank you so much. I love your story and I love what you're doing. Haley, I think Haley was in the last one.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Haley Tharp, and I just graduated in November. So that was super exciting and a life-changing experience. Before the program, I was actually working as a corporate lawyer, and that was just completely draining and, it felt like a waste of my life, really. And I quit my job and I started my business called Legally Well, where I offer different wellness workshops, healthy happy hours, coaching sessions, bringing self-care and wellness to lawyers. And so I initially began this program so that I could bring meditation to my business and incorporate it into my services. But I didn't realize that I would leave actually wanting to be a meditation teacher separately. And so that just blew my mind. It took me on this whole other journey and path. Going through the training, you learn so much, but I also forgot that I would actually reap the benefits of meditating so much and learning so much about it and being in this space with so many like-minded people. It completely opened up all of my chakras, and I feel like a completely different person. And I'm just so excited for life and living life now. And that's all because of this program. So thank you to Suze and davidji. For those in LA, I'm actually hosting a self-love guided meditation tomorrow at Palisades Park in Santa Monica. And yeah, I'm excited to see some of my classmates here. We've met in person. So I just highly encourage you. This is an amazing program. Do it.
Thank you so much, Haley.
Thank you, Haley.
Love seeing you. That was so beautiful. And we have one last person from the last program, Shauna Thomas.
Hello, and thank you, Haley, so much, because Haley was in my group and we've met in person and we've kept in touch. And I have to just say so much about this program. I was searching for like-minded people to have a community. And so I kind of did it to deepen my own practice, not knowing what was going to come of it. And I feel like I've really found my people. There's nothing bad that can come out of talking to like-minded people about meditation and ways to make the world a healthier, more saner place to live in. So before I started, I got my yoga certification a few years back. And once I took this meditation course, I realized I so wish I would have taken it first, because before you even learn to move, you have to learn to sit still. So there's so many great things that come of it. And I thought to myself, oh, should I spend the money? Should I do it? I don't know if I want to teach. I don't really know what I want out of it other than just to deepen my own practice. And then I thought, what bad thing is going to come out of learning ways to quiet your mind and being around like-minded people and reading great books about how to really de-stress and respond differently to life. And that's what I've been able to do since the program. And since that, so many things have opened up to me professionally because I'm trying to move away from what I normally do. I'm a producer in television. And again, it kind of takes a lot out of you and isn't really like my people and the stuff that I want to do. And so now I'm cultivating a space where I get to go and bring health and wellness to the world. And that is so rewarding. And of course, davidji and Suze, they made, I have taken a lot of different courses in my life, and this is the best one that I've taken because they make it very easy. They're very supportive. The books are very good. It's not overwhelming, and it is just so positive all the way around. So I cannot express enough how much I've gotten out of it, and I'm just happy to be here. And I think everybody should do it because you will get a lot out of it.
Thank you so much, Shauna. I mean, we fall in love. We always call them our children, davidji and I, after we host these classes, because it is such a bonding, love bomb experience where we're all just really connecting with each other. And our intention is to make sure that after people graduate, they can feel confident to teach. And the way that we do that is by helping people practice. Because I've taken a lot of programs where I've learned a lot and I've done absolutely nothing with it. But when you learn and then you connect with people, and we do these breakout rooms where they're teaching each other, by the end, they went from, I remember there was one girl, and she was hysterically crying because she didn't want to teach on the very last class. You have to teach the entire audience of Unplug. And she just was so nervous. She didn't feel ready. She was hysterically crying. This was like on Wednesday, and the Wednesday of the final week. And we said, you know what? You don't have to teach. You don't have to do this. And afterwards on Thursday, she started begging us to teach. And we're like, no, it was making you so nervous. You can't do it. And by the end, she was like, I have to do it. Not only did she teach, but she opened up her own studio. I think was it Switzerland or Jelena? Switzerland? Okay. And she opened up her own studio in Switzerland. And now she teaches every day. So you think that you can't. You think, who am I to teach meditation? I know I felt that way too. I didn't know what I was doing in the beginning. But now I feel confident to teach absolutely anyone, because when you do this program, you get so much information that by the 6th week, you don't have to learn anymore. It's more about practicing what you already know. And that's kind of one of the things I love about it. davidji, this is our time to kind of maybe answer some of these questions that are in the chat. I know a lot of people have questions in the chat. We're going to be answering that. We had so many questions, so would love to kind of take a look at some of those. One person.
Well, here was the biggest question.
Mm-hmm.
When is it? What's it like? So the training starts March 13th. It runs till April 22nd. On April 22nd, you will be certified. You will have gone through the entire process. Each week, everything is there for you on the dashboard. So there are lessons, there are videos, there are daily meditations, there's all this content for you to really absorb at your own pace. We have a couple of webinars that kick off on March 13th, and then every 2 weeks until we are together. And then when we're together for that final, quote, in residence week, it's our virtual in residence week. That's April 17th through the 22nd. That's a Monday through Saturday. And those days are 9 to 5. Saturday we end early. Graduation is before noon. And it's 9 to 5 with a nice break, typically around 12 to 2. So you can take online classes at Unplug while you're doing that, or you can run an errand or do whatever, or rest or do your run. You can really integrate that into your life. And a lot of people say, well, I have a job, I have kids, I've got responsibilities. Every one of the 212 people who've gone through this training also had stuff going on, and they were really able to comfortably integrate all that in. And our final week together, it's all live. We are together. Our webinars, they're live, and our final week together, We are together, and we're going to really train you and practice together with you getting so comfortable meditating and sharing meditation that you're a rock star by the end of the process.
Mhm. And one of my favorite things is the meditation part. So davidji every morning guides us in a meditation live on that 6 week, and every evening we end the day with meditation with davidji. And just by the end, I mean, my husband always says this about me. He's like, "You are glowing." I am glowing. I am loving. I am the best person on the planet to be around by the end of the 6th week, which is why I personally, I don't have to be there the whole time, but I am, because I just want to do it over and over and over again. And it's fun. I mean, one of the things, and I'm sure Haley and Kelly and Shauna can say about this is, and Ryan, if he's still on, davidji makes it so much fun. He's so entertaining, and everything he says, you're going to want to write down, because it's just the most brilliant soundbite you've ever heard in your entire life. And we play off of each other, because he's more spiritual, and I kind of simplify for him a little bit. So this program is a little bit different than the program that he does. And I also teach everybody the business of meditation, like how to open up a studio. Any question, that's another thing that I think is incredible about the program. Any question that you have, we answer every single day. So we literally have you ask us a question every single night. We answer it first thing in the morning. And then if you have another one at the end of the day, you write it in. So there's nothing off the table by the time that you graduate this program. And I share all of my secrets of what it's been like to open up a meditation studio, to hire, over 300 teachers to come work here. What makes a great teacher? What makes an average one? Because I've seen it. I've learned the hard way. One of the things I did that was really not smart, one of the many not smart things that I did, was when I opened up Unplug, I gave away all my free classes and nobody showed up. They came to one class free and then they never came back again. And I realized, you need to put some skin in the game. So we created this 2-week unlimited program, which wasn't very expensive, but they started coming every single day. They started experiencing the benefits and seeing the results, and they started coming back. And these are the little things that you don't know unless you've gone through the journey. davidji, what other questions should we be answering?
Well, we do have some questions that people sent in.
Mm-hmm.
So how long are the sessions? What's the schedule? I think I covered that. What can a person do with this certification? Well, the most important thing that you can do with this certification is suddenly you'll realize, and maybe you've been pushing it off and not acknowledging how amazing you are, but once you are truly certified here, you will be an expert. There's no room that you're going to walk into where anyone in the room knows necessarily more about meditation or mindfulness than you do. So you can really have that comfort inside of you and that confidence to be like, you know what? I don't know about other stuff that I do, but this thing, I'm an expert. So that's really, pretty important. Is there an opportunity to take a few complimentary virtual classes with Unplug before signing up with the training?
No, but when you do take the training, you can actually, you get free classes for the entire experience. So you are a member of Unplug during your 6-week teacher training.
And Anita says, what kind of meditation do you guys subscribe to? There's so many different types of technique, and here's types of techniques and lineages in schools. Here's one thing that I want to stress about Unplug. I am, I've gone through, TM and primordial sound and nakshatra, and many other trainings through that process. We don't have an agenda. So we're not going to take a lane and say, this is the way to do it. We're going to share all the different possibilities out there, and you get to pull a thread from the ones that resonate most with you. And that's why we really want to expose you to so many of the different teachers on the Unplug app, because we're talking about 6 weeks of all different styles, techniques, types, and schools of meditation. And we want you to be ambidextrous. We want you to really to be able to be, so multidimensional that you get to choose what that is. We believe in dogs. At least I believe in dogs, not dogma. And so I think that's one of the things that sets us apart from other meditation
I think that's a great
schools.
way to put it, because a lot of meditation programs are mindfulness or transcendental or Vedic, but we actually share with you all those styles. So you'll know about every way to meditate. There are more ways to meditate than there are to like ice cream at Baskin Robbins. You'll learn all of them. But the most important thing you'll learn is how to find your own voice. So you don't need a script when you're teaching, because what we find is with some other programs, they script things out and then it doesn't ever feel completely natural. And you need to be able to kind of tap into your own voice and your own beliefs and be able to teach from your own heart and passion. And that's what makes a great teacher. So you'll be doing that a lot and you'll be so prepped for it because you will have learned over, 500 different ways to meditate probably by the time that you get to week 6, or maybe like closer to 100, right, Julina? I don't even know.
Natasha asked an interesting question. Will I find out, about, is this yogic or is this Buddhist? What are the origins? We're going to teach you what the origins are. We're going to share that. So we'll go back thousands of years and right to the very moment with the most cutting edge science and research and data on meditation. So we believe, you should know the source material of all of this. And we pay homage to that and we respect that. And we also want to share with you, how do I take that stuff that was created in a world thousands of years ago and really integrate it into 2023 and beyond? And I think we sort of like found the sweet spot there of being able to do that. Suze always accuses me of being a purist because I like to always talk about chakras and Patanjali and yoga and the Bhagavad Gita and all that other stuff. And I always call her a purist because she's like distilling it all down and just making it so clean and bite-sized. And I think between the two of us, we have really found this really powerful dynamic exchange that anyone who goes through this training, we are distinctly different. We adore each other. We complement each other. And we have, different interests and agendas at the same time that we have so many things that overlap. So I think that's like one of the powerful things that really, I don't do this with anybody else. I have, there's no one else that I've like merged with in terms of my heart and my soul. And so,
yeah, I love that too, because we have to learn how to teach in a way that if you're teaching a large audience, there are going to be people there that have never meditated before, and there'll be people there who've been doing it for, 20 years. And you have to find a way to actually appeal to both of them. So we give you the techniques and the language so that they're not triggered and that they're going to have a deep experience no matter where they are. We also will give to you the timing. We'll help you if you're a low talker, raise your voice. If you're a loud talker, lower your voice. We go through all these nuances that you wouldn't even think about, but that we've had to think about because one, davidji's been teaching globally for decades, and the other, we have a studio and we know what appeals to the corporate clients, the regular clients, and we're constantly trying to find a way to appeal to all.
Yeah. So a lot of people say, well, how can I find the right meditation technique for me? We're going to expose you to so many different types of teachings and techniques that you'll be like, oh, that one felt really good. That one, it's not vibing with me. So you get to choose and you get to cultivate how you teach, what you teach, where you teach. And we have taught at some of the largest mega companies and some of the tiniest little places as well. We'll teach you how to present to a big audience, as well as how to do a one-on-one and get a personal meditation student to be someone that could be someone you live with or someone that you're related to or someone you work with. But that's really the biggest step. If you're the number one thing that I would say, we all are challenged sometimes by having a regular and consistent meditation practice. And you just hang out with us for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. We're not even talking, it's not even a full 2 months. 6 weeks, and you will have a lockdown practice forever. And you saw those stats that Jelena, put up there. We were able to help people transform from, I'm a dabbler, I'm a crisis meditator, to lockdown twice a day. And like, that doesn't happen just by reading a book. That doesn't happen by watching a video. It really happens by being in this immersed environment. And, people always say, well, is it worth it? Investing in yourself is always worth it. You have to decide, if it's a fit and if the timing is right. But it's always worth it. It's just a question of, is it a fit? And if it's not, then find something else that is a fit. But you need to invest in yourself. You need to take that step. The greatest people on the planet invested in themselves. They got deeper states of learning. They oriented themselves towards new ideas and found experts in particular fields, and sort of downloaded what the experts had to share. And I can very, very comfortably say that this, as I said, this is my 20th year, my 10th year on my own. And Suze was the visionary who created, imagine, the first drop-in meditation studio on the planet, the very, very first. So we come with, I think, a real world pedigree. And so it's not that we were in some, back room reading up on meditation, although we've done a lot of that as well. But, it's always the hands-on aspect. This is a very hands-on
Und
program.
jetzt am Ende dieser Straße hinter der Brücke rechts.
Oh,
And it's
I
even
see.
perfect for people in Germany, because we've had people in Germany and in Switzerland. And so if you're in Europe, absolutely reach out and have a conversation with Suze, because the whole thing is it a fit?
We've had a lot of people from Germany. We've had a lot of people from, as we said before, 19 different countries. Does anyone here, we have time for one question. Does anyone want to raise their hand and ask a question and come on live? We're happy to answer that if you have anything. If not, let me say that I, really believe that the more people that we train to do this, the bigger the ripple will be around the planet. So people need what you have. There are so many people who are suffering right now, and mental health used to be something that people wouldn't talk about. And now it's something that they're actively seeking and can't find people to help with all the people that actually need help. So what I think about this program that's so incredible is that we actually can help people help people. And that is what the main goal is with Unplug and with this program, is to put you in a position where you not only get to be like me, where I get to wake up every day doing what I love for a living, but I feel what I'm doing is my life's purpose, my life's goal. Like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I just love it. And I love meditating. So it's just one of these things that when you love something so much, you do want to become a professional at it for yourself and for everyone around you, whether you teach or you don't teach, but just knowing more about it really deepens your own practice. Like, I've done this, as I mentioned, this is going to be my 12th training with davidji. And every time I do it, I get something huge out of it. So I really hope that you'll join this movement with us, because the more people we get doing this, the more people will be doing this, and the better the world will be. And we know that people need this now more than ever. Did anybody want to raise their hand or say anything, or no? Okay, davidji.
Well, why don't we, before we kick off, why don't we connect to the stillness and silence that rests within just a little bit? So at least when we leave here, we'll float into the world with just a little bit of calm. So comfort is queen, get as comfortable as possible. Gently feather your nest. And remember, always keep moving towards comfort. And here's like another, there's a lot of schools out there that are going to say, no, rigid spine. No, hands in mudras. No, got to sit like this. Got to lean like that. I believe those are advanced teachings. The key is get as comfortable as possible, because if you're comfortable, you'll come back. And that's what allows us to keep showing up every day. So let's take a long, slow, deep breath in together. And ever so gently let that go. Let's do that one more time. Long, slow, deep breath in. Allow your eyelids to ever so gently float closed. And let that breath go. See how softly you can rest your upper lid on your lower lid right now. How soft can that touch be? Notice your feet on the ground. How stable you are. Notice your seat. How supportive. If you're resting your back against something, feel that safety. This moment is safe. This moment is secure. There's nowhere else to be. There's nothing else to do except to be right here, right now, in this sacred, precious, present moment. And simply drift your attention to your breath and just observe as it flows in, and observe it as it flows back out. Just notice, simply notice the breath coming into your nose, moving to the back of your nose, into your throat, to the back of your throat, down into your lungs. And that effortless release as it moves back up and back out. Notice that your mind is calming just a bit. Notice that your body is relaxing just a bit. Notice that the swirl outside of you and inside of you is slowing down just a bit. Let's simply ask one question. What am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? And just allow all the people, things, beings, situations, circumstances for which you're truly grateful to effortlessly unfold in your mind's eye. Let's just stay in this space as our gratitude list unfolds. Just sit gently with your eyes closed. Let the stillness and silence settle in. And take a deep breath in. And let that go. Let's do that one more time. Long, slow, deep breath in. And gently release it. And begin to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and when it feels comfortable, you can ever so gently open your eyes. And welcome back. And so that was just 3 minutes of us connecting to stillness and silence. And we want to teach you how to do that, make it longer, make it shorter, in the moment, in class, by yourself, with family. So consider spending these 6 weeks with us and taking your life to the next level.
And if you are interested, we're going to be sending something around where you can set up a call with me and we can talk about it, or you can apply, and then we'll set up a call afterwards. Thank you so much. And thank you for spending all this time with us, taking the time for self-care, for caring about yourself and caring about other people and practicing. And davidji, thank you again so much for giving us so much time. I feel so blessed and lucky that I get to work with you, and we get to do this program. So hopefully we will see you guys in March. And by April, you'll be certified Unplug Meditation Teachers. It's that easy. So I look forward to hearing from all of you. Have a great day.